Dear distinguished guests and industry colleagues, it's a pleasure to share with you today my thoughts on the role of gas in the world and Europe. As the president of an organization that represents almost the entire global gas market, our members account for 95% of global gas value chain. I can assure you, gas is critically important. Gas is the most flexible energy tool that will be key to the rebuilding better after this crisis, while continuing to deliver energy transition sustainably, effectively, and affordably. Of course, the world is a diverse place. There are many different energy circumstances across regions. So the role that gas will play in the developed market like Europe, developing market like Asia, or underserviced ones like Africa will also be different, yet equally important. I'd like to touch on all three. Developed market already enjoy the advanced infrastructure and the access to gas is generally very high. The great recent progress in the market flexibility, addition of a new supply, and the low price environment have been enabling good deal of fuel switching in Europe and North America away from the coal and the oil product to cleaner and safer natural gas. This switching has already delivered a huge reduction in CO2 emissions and immense environment improvement in air quality. There is a key role for the gas and the source of environmental and the societal value in these markets. There are still room for immediate and very near-term switching, which would continue to drive down emissions in half when we switching from the coal and eliminated air pollution. These benefits are realistic, immediate, and aligned with the climate goals. The US and the UK are excellent examples thanks to the gas and the renewables replacing coal generation. In UK emission, power sector emission have been on the continuous decline in recent years, with a 13% decline year on year in 2019, largely driven by coal to gas switch. In the between 2005 and 2019, total US electricity generation increased by almost 2%, while related CO2 emission fell by 33%, attributable to the strong growth in renewables and the coal to gas switching. Furthermore, this is an economically positive story if emissions are priced in accordance with the stated climate goals. Even newly built gas-fired plants would remain cash positive for the life of the asset, according to the recent report that we published together with the Boston Consulting Group. The analysis in that report demonstrated, in fact, that if deployed only to the economic potential, clean technology using gas can deliver 12 gigaton emission reduction from the energy sector. There is 1/3 of total energy emission, a benefit too large to ignore. In addition, there is still much to be gained from the energy efficiency investment that can complement fuel switching to maximize this immediate value. The second part of a developed market story lies in technology. Extensive gas infrastructure that is already in place provides an ideal entry point for the introduction clean technology to further decarbonizing and meet the climate targets. Hydrogen, renewable natural gas, or biomethane, and the carbon capture and the storage technologies are rapidly advancing, make gas carbon neutral. But the policy will be crucial for them reach to needed scale. And of course, Gas generation will be critically important in supporting grid resiliency and integrating very high shares of renewable energies. Now let me turn to the developing markets. They are an engine of gas demand growth, as it is a frequently central piece of their energy transition strategy. These are areas, especially in Asia, where population, development, industrialization, urbanization are growing at a great speed. And this growth has largely been fueled by domestic coal. Natural gas infrastructure is now being actively expanded here to enable switching to gas or bringing new energy connection to the community head on. And importantly, reduce amount of new coal asset being built. Gas and the renewables will help change emission growth trajectory in immediate period, while low carbon technology gains scale to be introduced in next phase of energy transition. When it comes to the underserviced market, these regions are taking hardest hit from the pandemic crisis. This is where very large part of the population remain without the access to the modern energy. And the worst year, according to the IEA, that the number will go up this year. Lacking access to the modern reliable energy means inability to provide proper care to sick, store life-saving medicine, or ensure appropriate recovery conditions. What is worse, these markets, like many Africa, often find themselves in a very unfair paradox. They have domestic gas resources, but do not have a means to bring them to their communities. But I'm very optimistic that we can change that, because here again, technology can come to the rescue. Advanced in the small-scale gas distribution technology, including LNG, and the distributed generation, including renewables and gas, are making possible to accelerate the access to modern energy in these hard-hit areas. According to our report I referred to earlier, it is called Gas Technology Innovation for the Sustainable Future. Natural gas can economically bring access to the clean cooking to the 1 billion people. However, as with anything, initial financing is critical, and it should be included in the plans to rebuild, recover post the COVID-19 crisis. So, to sum up that all up, while role of gas in different regions will vary from the region to region, its environmental, economic, and the societal value undeniably huge in all three types of market. The tools needed and the ease of accessing that value varies greatly. And the areas with the highest potential benefit also tend to face the highest initial barriers, such as upfront financing, regulatory certainty, or potential political stability. These areas are in need of most help in achieving World Sustainable Development Agenda. On the supply side, all the conditions are favorable for this value to be materialized. There are ample resources which are geographically diverse, providing market optionality. There is increasing commercial flexibility and healthy competition. There is a continuous technical innovation, bring down to cost and making easier to enter market even for smaller players. Finally, there is a growing understanding that industry can play enormous role in improving quality of lives while accelerating energy transition and fueling economic growth. I will conclude with this. 2020 has a very difficult year and one that really put us all the test. But I have no doubt that We together will come out of these challenges stronger and wiser, able to rebuild better, and the gas will be there to provide clean, safe, flexible, affordable, and resilient energy to do so. The IGU will continue to working demonstrated economic, social, and environmental value of gas in the global energy mix. Thank you, and I wish you have a very productive and engaging conference. Thank you again.